Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Base Fuego Y Sonrisa podcast.
What?
We got your boy Fuego in the house.
And this is Señor Sonrisa 777.
And if you want to do the honors.
Oh, yeah. So this guest we've been planning for a while. He's a great guest. I met him at Cal State East Bay, longtime friend. His name is Jordan. Let's welcome Jordan, everybody. Let's go. Oh, man. And we just wanted to share. Yeah, thank you for coming on. It's exciting to have you on. And so just kind of give the audience a little bit of background. We met in Cal State East Bay, like you said, around 10 years ago, taking a political philosophy class about arguments. And I'm just kind of curious to know, what made you choose Cal State East Bay, and what made you choose political science at that time?
Yeah, solid. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, y'all.
Hell yeah,
let's get to connect and build with y'all. Why East Bay and why political science? To be honest, in high school, so I'm from Hayward, which is where East Bay is, our college. And I'll be honest, I didn't take school serious. I knew to do good in school, you would do good in life or whatever, but I didn't take it serious. And I applied to one school my junior year, and that was Cal State East Bay, because I had no plans on going to college, right? And I sent out that one application and I got rejected. And for whatever reason, that rubbed me wrong. I was like, hold up, I'm from the city. East Bay is supposed to be an easy school to get in, and I didn't get in. And so I was like, what the hell? Y'all not gonna hold it down for me, right? I felt like,
what's going on?
In the city, regardless of if I was taking it serious or not, right? But so that lit a fire under me, and then I just spent the next year, my senior year in high school, just improving my GPA. I took the SAT 3 times.
Wow.
And I applied to a number of different schools. I got accepted into 5 other schools. And and I chose East Bay because I was I had that chip on my shoulder, I had to handle that. And so I went to East Bay, and originally I came in undeclared because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was super interested in political science and music. Music, because in high school I was making beats and songs and stuff like that.
Nice. Wow. Okay. Nice.
And but I was also interested in political science because I knew politics was a way to, or it was a route that somebody can go if they wanted to have an impact on people. And for me, I've always cared about people and wanted to have that impact. And so that's why I studied political science, but I actually ended up changing my major from poli-sci to economics, because I took one economics course, and it changed my life. It changed my whole perspective of how the world worked and all of that, because it was merging political science and sociology and psychology and business and finance all into one, really to get a perspective of how the world works. If I have a certain set of beliefs and I spend my dollar here versus there, what does that have an impact on a greater society, right? Economy, whatever you want to call it. And I studied, so I changed to economics because I was super interested in just learning how people worked and ways in which to help people, have a better situation. And so I saw politics as one route, because you can write laws and that has a direct impact on people. But for me, for economics, it was okay, what's the impact of writing those laws? If I make this change, in law, so I can try to address poverty, what does that actually look like? And so economics kind of helped me figure out what that looked like. Now I'm not in politics at all, but it definitely just helped me look at the world from a different perspective, for sure.
I think also what might have also shaped in your perspective, also, you were in a fraternity, correct me if I'm right?
Yeah. So I was super active when we were at East Bay. I was always doing some crap. Like, yeah, like the first quarter of my freshman year, I rushed a fraternity. And then that same year, I was a part of like the student government had their own like events, like
Yeah.
little organization or whatever. So like they would put on concerts and stuff. So I was a part of that. That was super cool. And shortly after, my fraternity had like, due to some stuff the old alumni had did, like nothing that there had did, like resulted in the fraternity getting kicked off campus. So we created a whole new one.
Yeah.
And that was super dope. And shortly after that, I was actually a part of the student government on campus, because again, I wanted to have like an impact on people. And one of the students who I looked up to, they were like, yo, like check out student government, like, you know, like there might be something there for you. And I had like no prior leadership experience at all, and I was like, what the hell am I getting myself into? Just put it in perspective. So the student government at our university at the time was like a $7 million nonprofit organization. It was like a legit organization that like you can run for a board of directors seat publicly and be voted on by students in order to represent them in the student government, right? And so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like that's a cool way for students to like get their hands dirty and actually like try to do stuff, right? And so I was a part of that for 1 year, and like this it's like political position where I would like look at bills that affected Cal State East Bay students and like the greater California state student system. And I would look at these bills, and then I would like reach out to the representatives and the lawmakers, like the authors of those bills, and like tell them about the student perspective. And like I would try to get students to join me, and like going to Sacramento and like trying to apply pressure and stuff like that. It was pretty dope. I was like, man, like I've never, you know, like you hear about activism and stuff like that, but for the school to use student government as a means to do that, like in like a professional way, I thought was super cool. So yeah. So yeah, I did fraternity, and I did a whole bunch of other random stuff that I didn't even talk about. But
well, I remember, I think it was I don't know if it was your idea or something, but I don't know if you remember the recycle bins that have like solar panels and stuff. That was like before that wasn't on there. Then that was there. Then there was the portable water bottle things where you can actually put a water bottle. That was cool, because then we didn't have that before. So we see this new, like all of a sudden these new things as a student. It's like, whoa, this actually works. Like, because you know sometimes you know how sometimes politics can get a little messy. So to actually see things work on campus, it kind of, at least to me, it lifted my spirit up.
Right. You know, exactly. It's like that's what happens when you use your voice. You know, when you say what you need, what you want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, like you don't know what's possible. Like I still don't think a lot of students know that part of their tuition goes towards that organization that's supposed to provide them, you know, some value for them, right? Like that service, right? Whether it's something as small as the touchless water dispensers, so you can refill your water bottles, so we can stop using plastic waters, or you know, whatever it may be. Free Scantrons, you know, rather than paying $2 for every class to buy Scantrons. Like that's something that's free that students paid for and can use. And so it's cool, because like even like those small things for me as a student was like, oh, like that's what happens like when I get active, when I get engaged, when like I use my voice, when, you know, I get other people who have the same need, then once this need resolved as a student, like now I know who to go and how to go about getting it. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. I have a question on that. What were the difficulties that you faced being in student government, like trying to get certain things passed or having disagreements? I guess you were mentioning that you went to Sacramento. Was there any battles where like there was just no agreement between both sides? Like, how is that process for anyone who might want to consider joining student government? Good. This is all new to me.
That's a great question.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think Well, one, if you're not speaking up,
Mhm.
and if there's no how can I say, like, criticism, like, you're not speaking loud enough, and so for me, I use student government as a platform for me to work on my leadership abilities and to work on my speaking capabilities, and like being able to
Mhm.
connect with other people. So um I've never been like the best speaker. Like it was like work after work after work for me to be able to speak with confidence. And student government really planted the seed for me to know how to speak in different settings,
Mhm.
speak to different audiences, and like learn how to navigate politics in like a team environment. Because like there are those like different uh power dynamics within
Yeah.
like your own team, or or even if you're trying to organize your team to face another group of people, which was like the administration for us, because we were
Good
like, yo,
point.
we represent students, we got to get stuff done, yeah, ain't
Yeah,
listening
yeah,
to
yeah,
you
yeah. Definitely. Yeah,
and
you're
stuff,
speaking for the
right? So it
people.
was like,
Mhm.
how can I get my team to be on that same wave as we're trying to get things that we're fighting for, for students, to the administrators and faculty and stuff. And yeah, I think, yeah, again, like it was a way for me to force myself to be uncomfortable, to grow.
Good
Because
point.
I've always like have strayed away from conflict, usually like trying to be the mediator. Um, but sometimes, through that experience with student government, I realized, yeah, you gotta speak. Otherwise, like you're not gonna get heard. Otherwise, your ideas that you think are possible now may not actually happen, because sometimes you put yourself in a position to where you have influence, like a lot more influence than you had before, right? And so for me, student
Mhm.
government, being a part of the fraternity, being a part of like the startup club, and even like the Black Student Union, like those are ways in which I could uh like scratch the interest I had on all that stuff, and then also like challenge myself to see what was going on, to hear what people were saying, and then also put my ideas out there and see how people respond to them, and yeah, you see how I can try to have that connection and impact on folks. um yeah, super interesting.
So I guess you were able to complete political science and economics at the same time, huh? In the real world.
Sort of. So I majored in economics, and then I minored in political science. Yeah, because I had already taken the classes, I was like, well, let me just turn that into a minor, and
Yeah.
not spend like another year just to get the degree. Because what I realized, especially after student government, was like a lot of the political work is really just like just doing it. It's just like looking at what's out there, hearing about people's stories, trying to understand like the reality of the situation, and trying to mobilize and educate folks in your community about what's actually going on, and try to, bring a call to action to, reach out to the representatives locally, or go to Sacramento, to the Capitol, or whatever it may be, to really get out there and make a difference. But yeah. Sorry, what was your question?
No, I guess 'cause when you became a student government, I guess you also
Mm,
learned like economics because you also have to learn about budgeting money and learning how to
mm,
make deals in order for that to get passed. And so you kind of got a little bit of both like
mm.
worlds in a sense, right? Because you both get to learn what if I do this, if I take money away from this, where is that going to go? How will that impact? And what deals do I got to make in order for that to work? You know?
Right, exactly. Because I saw all of it as like a system,
Mhm.
like political science, like politics and government as a system. I saw like economics as like a system. I saw my time at university as a system, right? And all this stuff I was doing were like different points where I can engage with that system and like see what, what type of output can come out of it, right? Like what kind of results I can generate by like understanding and playing with the system. And yeah, with economics and political science, that's exactly the reason why I studied both, was to understand those systems and see, okay, how are laws created, and then how do we as humans behave with certain things going on in the economy, right? Like if there's a loss of jobs, what type of impact does that have on me, right? Like what does that have on the people in the communities that now don't have those jobs anymore, right? Because what I realized, somebody who's big on like the liberation of people of color in this country, and like given our history, and like trying to make more strides in advancement, we need to have influence over policy and influence over the flow of capital, because like if we want more for our community, that can take form of just like people power, like just personal passion and effort and commitment, but it's that on top of the resources in order to make that community like a self-sustaining community. And so, of course, money is like the most, I guess, like simplest representation of resource.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have it,
you have the money, you can buy whatever you need or whatever. You can use that money to create more jobs and see how that looks, right? And so yeah, that's kind of why I was super interested in economics and yeah, trying to see what that looked like tied into politics. Because yeah, going back to your point before we had started recording, people on the ground, who actually have that close relationship to their communities, because they know better than somebody over in Washington talking about how to solve our issues here, so yeah, being somebody that's from Hayward, went to school in Hayward, like there's a level of understanding that I have that those folks don't. And so like now I'm trying to take, what I know to be true, or what I assume to be true or false, from studying political science, economics, and like my firsthand experience, right? Trying to actually connect with people to see what that future looks like. So yeah.
So kind of tell us what happened. So you were able to change from political science to economics. You end up graduating economics with a minor in political science. And then how does your story continue? What happens after that?
Yeah, good question. So after East Bay, when I graduated, I was working at a bank as like an online banker, essentially like customer support. And it was like for this like super bougie bank, and like their clientele are people that they're essentially millionaires. It's like rich people. Most of them.
1%.
Yeah.
right. Like I'm not that's what it was. So for me, like it was cool because I was working there and going to school at the same time, or I was finishing up my schooling at the same time. And then I finished, and I was there for a little bit, but I was super interested in like the startup world and like what tech meant as a means of pushing innovation, right? Like technologically, like what does innovation look like? And it was actually during my time at East Bay University where I really like learned about the tech world and some of the ideas that were coming out of it, like human-centered design thinking, and like the business model canvas, which is just like a one-page like a picture of like your business model without having to write like a 20-page business plan or whatever. And I was just like, oh, like that's cool, like because I used to think if I wanted to have a business or create a business, I had to write this 20-page document that I did not want to do.
A proposal.
Like, I can just tell you like in like a minute of like what I want to do versus like having to write this crazy document. And then I learned about like how tech operated, and like it just got rid of all that all that unnecessary stuff when it came to, you know, what's the idea, what's the problem. No, it was like, what problem are you solving in the world? What idea do you have as a solution to that problem? And by what means are you generating revenue by solving this issue for people, right? Or a company or whatever, right? So I was like, oh, like that's really awesome, because it's all about a problem and a solution to that problem using like the private market, right? Just like you and I transacting as a means to solve that issue, right? And so I thought that was super cool. And so me, I can't code. I was like, all right, I'm super interested in tech, but I can't code at all. I tried, and I was like, nah. But I was like, you know, like I like to talk to people, and I like to problem solve. So what's like the next best thing I can do? And so I spent 5 years in tech sales, selling software, data, applications to other companies, as a way just to like stay in tech and like learn about, you know, how it worked and stuff. And it's cool. It's interesting because like being in the Bay Area, we know about tech and kind of like what it is or what it could be, or what it isn't. And like being in Hayward, which is considered the heart of the Bay, I thought it was interesting where like a lot of people on this side of the Bay had no idea of like how this community, this ecosystem worked. And it's like right in our backyard. And it's like you have like some of the smartest people building these companies, getting a lot of money to like build these companies to solve these problems. But yet, like, why don't my friends know about this, right? Like what's really going on? And so when I was in tech for the 5 years, you quickly realize it's not many folks of color in there. Like if there are folks of color, it's like sprinkles, you know, it's like never no consistency, right? And so like I was super curious as to, well, who's creating these companies? Because if Black and brown folks only make up 6% of like the total tech workforce, like who's creating the companies? And so I looked at it, and it's mostly white dudes. You can assume.
Surprise, surprise.
Right. Like, white homies out there. But yeah, I was like, man, it's like nothing. You know, it's like mostly just created by white folks, right? I'm like, well, where is the money coming from? Like who, like how much of every dollar is going towards a Black founder or a Latino founder? And like that in itself is like 2-3%.
Wow.
And so I was like, wow, because I know there's a lot of like entrepreneurs that look like you and I out there.
Yeah.
So like why is there like a huge gap in funding? Because usually the biggest reason why companies fail is because of lack of funding, right? And
especially startups, right?
Right, exactly. Because it's you know, they're moving at breakneck speeds. Like their whole goal is to get acquired or be on the stock market in 3 to 4 or 5 years or whatever, right? Like super short timeline. And so I'm like, well, like what's really going on? And so I left sales to be in venture capital, which is investing in private companies, aka startups, because I wanted to actually be a part of that funding process to try to change the system, right? Like, so one of the first companies I worked at was called Black Founders Matter, where we took other people's money and we found Black founders that were creating cool companies, and we invested in them. And it was pretty awesome. Like I can say that I invested in I can say like I invested in a Black or video game production company that was led by a woman of color. Like, It's just like,
Oh,
like it's just like, you
man.
know, like
Yeah.
it's like creating opportunities like that for me is like what I really care about. And because again, I care about the models, I care about the systems. And so like if we can figure out ways in which to be a part of the funding process, you know, the dispersal of capital, resources, talent, as a way to figure out like how to provide for us in our community, like that's what I'm all about. So yeah, sorry, I was just like
It's all
riffing.
good.
Man,
How was it like? How was the feeling that you were able to be part of the solution?
It's amazing because like it's amazing. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like work, you know. And I think uh, for folks that are trying to find their purpose in life, I always say start with like something that you're passionate about. Like start with something that you're interested about. Get your hands dirty. Like dabble with whatever. You don't have to commit to anything. You know, you can get your hands dirty really easily. Like if you wanted to uh, you know, if you had the idea or the dream of starting a clothing company and you just wanted to start off with a logo on a like as a graphic on a shirt, like it costs 30-50 bucks to get a sample of that shirt just to see what it looks like, what it feels like, right? um and yeah, I think for anybody that's interested in wanting to figure out their impact, it's like, you know, I have an idea of what that looks like. And yeah, test the waters, like get out there, like don't be afraid of failure, like don't be afraid of success too. Like that for me, like after having finished university and like having worked, like that was actually the bigger thing I had to deal with, was like the fear of success, of like the fear of like, well, if I keep going this way, then damn, like can I even handle that, you know?
Mhm.
Which I think a lot of people put upon themselves. And I think like that can create you know, what they call like imposter syndrome, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like, I don't think I belong here because like you know, I never thought I could get here.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, like
Yeah.
who am I? Like who am I? Like who am I to get all these things? Like what did I deserve? But like
Exactly.
we work for it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I think the best remedy to that is just to get your hands dirty, like, you know, practice your craft with whatever it may be, whether it's graphic design or business or, you know, community service,
Mhm.
whatever it may be, you know, just get out there and do it. And I think the other thing to that is always, this is something I've realized at the end of like my years in university, which I wish I knew earlier. Um, but really adopting the persona of a student, like always
Mm.
wanting to learn. Like I try to make it a daily habit to learn one thing new a day. Cause like I think when we're out and about in life and the ups and downs that come with that, it makes it so easy for us to get distracted about, you
Yeah.
know, things that fulfill us. And for me, that's like learning and growing and trying to see ways in which I can push and challenge myself. So yeah, I think yeah, just like if yeah, again, for folks that are interested in whatever you're interested in, like just get your hands dirty and yeah, just try to figure out where you want to get out of it and try to find friends that are interested too, or make new friends that are um and really again just like see what you can do, because we got one life to live, so
That's
might as
exactly.
well, you know, have fun doing it. So
That's a great point. I mean, you were able to go out of college and do something completely almost different than what you studied, right? So I mean that, and that's just for you trying different things, and you know, one person kind of helps you along, and you're just kind of finding your way through life,
mhm.
right? And I just kind of wanted to ask you, like, how, like, if somebody wanted to support like a minority or like Black business, Latino business, what are some ways they can do that? Like, if they don't, do you have to go to like
Mhm.
those GoFundMe, or what's a way that they can go out there and find those ways so they can support those businesses, so that way there is more representation, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. I think the best way to do it is to one, just like shop there. I would say like shop there and then like try to invest in those companies or entrepreneurs if you can. Yeah, I think we all know that at least one Black or brown ran restaurant in any given city. Like we can find that real easily nowadays. And it's as small as that. It's like changing like where you buy stuff, right? Like if I know I can go down to the store and it's like a Black owned grocery store, like I know like my dollar's going to my people, and like that dollar is going to go back into the local community versus me going to Safeway or Albertsons or Lucky and like, you know, that chain just gets that dollar and they do whatever. And like, I know that's not going to come back to my community. Right. So it's like trying to find those alternatives to stuff that we already, or to places that we already go. So that way, like your money's always going back to the community, whether it's like a little plaza, a little shopping plaza, you know, that has like a little bakery or whatever. Yeah, just like something as small as that. But then to your point about like actually funding and backing companies created by founders of color, GoFundMe is definitely one. I would say GoFundMe is probably more in line with like community service type stuff, or maybe like more like personal you know, funding projects. I would say check out stuff like Kickstarter, which is pretty cool. Kickstarter. There's even websites like Republic that allow you to invest in private companies that aren't on the stock market. And I know that some companies on Republic are created by founders of color. So like that's a way for you to actually invest in a company and like have actual ownership of that company. And so when the company does good, you actually get a kickback from that eventually, right? So there's many different ways to get involved and to invest. But the other thing is, if you know a friend that has a business, support them. Like or if you know friends that have friends that have businesses, try to find ways to support them, or, you know, just ask around. I think that's one of the coolest things about social media today is that I can literally just ask my friends like online and like either one post or one story, and like, you know, people, and just ask them like, hey, like where should I go if I want to enjoy some good Ethiopian food? And like I got answers from like 5 people in 5 minutes. So yeah, I think it's just just asking and try to find those connections.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. I have a question, Jordan. For someone who wants to get into venture capitalism, would you say that the route you took, I know everybody has their specific route, right? Everybody has their own way of life, but would you advise that the word, or give someone advice to go the same route that you took, as in going to college, taking econ, doing political science? Because I think your idea was so much that you were steps ahead of where you wanted to go. So you did all the right paths to get to where you're at, because your vision was always there to give back to the community and helping out and giving out you know, minorities a chance in the, you know, in the business world, which is cool. So somewhere in there, right, you had that vision and you just followed it. So if someone who were along the same lines, would you give them that same advice that you took, or would there be some things that you would tell them to do otherwise that might get there quicker or might be as smooth of a transition for someone?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say for anybody who's interested in venture capital and the art of investing in companies that are solving problems, that's really what venture capital is. Depending on where you're at in life, like if you're early in your career, like if you're in college, I would say start to do like research, start to like just get familiar with the tech space, the startup space, the venture capital space. Like just start reading the news, like TechCrunch or Hacker News or whatever, and just start to like pick up on how people talk about technology and opportunities. So when you want to like dive deeper and learn more, you now have that language to use.
That's true.
Right? And so now whether you go to your professor and you want to talk about venture capital, which often isn't even taught in schools. Like I went to our university, Cal State East Bay, 2 days ago, and I went to our business building, and like they have like a wall where it's like handouts of the different programs and like the courses you can take for each program. And the finance and entrepreneurship programs, 2 separate programs, there was nothing on venture capital or like or startup innovation. It's like very traditional business stuff. So yeah, for anybody that's interested, be proactive in getting that information, because yeah, your school program might not teach that. And oftentimes, because venture capital has always been like this like very niche segment of business and finance, it like how it actually works is like now become known. So all that information is online. Like you can buy a couple of books to learn about it. There's some good YouTube videos out there. Again, I would use that as a way to get the language, to build perspective of how it works. But in terms of actually breaking in and getting in, there's really no formal way to get in. The way a lot of people tend to get in for like entry level positions is that they either do an internship in college, which I didn't do, or they came from Ivy League school and then they got an entry level position, which I didn't come from Ivy League school. And then the other route, right? The other route is that like folks come into they come in through investment banking, which I didn't do. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And then same with consulting, which are like the traditional jobs that folks with like economics degrees or finance degrees usually go for. And then after some years there, then they'll like bounce over to venture capital. So if you're a student and you're very early in your journey, you're interested, those are kind of the typical routes to get in. For folks that may be a little bit later on, it really depends. I think at that point, it's mostly about, well, it's always about who you know, and like, you know, build those connections, and how you ask people like, like, hey, do you know about this? If so, can you teach me? Or hey, like, I'm a student. Again, I'm a student. Like, I'm trying to learn. Can you give me 10 minutes of your time so I can, you know, ask a couple of questions as I'm like learning this whole thing? But yeah, I think you just have to ask yourself, whether it's venture capital or anything else, like what type of impact do I want to have? Like what type of role do I want to have in the greater world? And how can I figure out what set of qualities I need to have to be the best in that? And then like seek to go get those qualities or get that knowledge to further like work towards that standard or that goal. And yeah, just put yourself out there to make those opportunities come to fruition. And I think if there was one thing, it's just keep learning about whatever it is that you're interested in, and then 2, keep making connections and keep having conversations and keep learning from people that are already there, have already been there, or are also on the same journey as you, so you can have that person that you can bounce these ideas off of.
Wow, it's a lot. That's some crazy.
Damn, it's cool. Like, yeah, I know you went your own path and you're successful. Like you made it, you stick to it. Maybe there might have been days where it was rougher than other days, but you made it, man. You stayed with it, and it's all, you know, it's all paid for, man. Man, that's very inspiring,
man. I mean, it's definitely a journey for sure. And I think people need to to be reminded often. I know I need to be reminded often that it's not necessarily the destination, but like the journey, right? Because even though like you may get there, it might be totally something different,
Yeah.
right? And so I think it's like, okay, like even now I'm there and it's either different than what I thought or it is exactly what I thought. It's, you know, still trying to figure out ways in which to find something beautiful out of it. But even in that journey, it's gonna be hard. Like there were many times where I damn near went broke trying to pull this off. You know? Like there were like a lot of risks that I took in order to make these things happen. Or sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes just life hit, you know, like whether it's like family issue or a relationship issue or whatever.
Epidemic.
Maybe one day I messed up at work and then that, or like maybe one day I messed up at work and like that threw me off when I got home. So I didn't work on this effort to like make this career transition out of sales into venture capital, right? And so like I think that's one thing that people again have to be reminded that you're gonna have some ups and some downs, and really like how to manage the downs is super crucial, because if you're so determined in like getting what you set out accomplished and achieving your goal, it's a lonely journey, and like you have to figure out how to like maintain you know, through all the pressure, the stress, the anxiety that comes with that, as you go on this journey. Because sometimes you might have a friend who cares, who gives an ear and listens, but they don't truly understand, you know. And that's the things that you have to really just accept, like whatever journey in life that you set out for yourself, and just going for it. And like again, trying to find ways in which to have that your own personal balance, because like that's really what it is when it comes to like stress management and like doing things that you see as being a challenge, is like trying to find that balance of working and then taking care of yourself. So yeah, if you have an outlet, whether it's art, sports, fitness, or whatever, some type of hobby, like definitely have that, because like you're gonna need that to have that distraction, have that you know, that thing where it's just about fun and you know, getting lost in, because sometimes work is so much. It's too much to like, even though like it's like, you know, your passion and that might be your art, right? That might be your craft. Sometimes you need like a side hobby to kind of like find that balance. So
decompress.
I definitely recommend that to folks. Mm-hmm.
What, I think you're a very interesting person. Like you went from college, then you are also into like venture capital, and you discovered that side of the world. But you were also very involved with the community. Like I remember watching. I was on Instagram one day, and I saw you. You were out there with the megaphone, and you were just out there with supporting the community. So I guess my question to you is like, what drives you to go out there and support your community? What's that what's that motivation? Why do you like to go out there and do that?
Yeah, great question. Again, like I said, I always care about my people. Like I got so much love for my city. I got so much love for the people who don't have the best relationship with my city, or you know, some of the struggles that come with that. Like last year, you know, in the wake of George Floyd and all the other deaths that happened, there was some stories that hit home in Hayward, you know, when it came to police brutality that people didn't know or didn't realize was actually an issue with their own police department. And so when I learned about that, other people, so we could actually get together, stand up and address the issue, because it hits home, you know, like in the wake of George Floyd, everybody saw that and was
Yeah.
protesting that, right? And so for me, I wanted to use that energy that we had, from that, and help educate people about what was going on in Hayward as it related to police brutality. Yeah. And so for me, I was super interested in getting the folks that were putting together protests within Hayward together with other local organizers to figure out ways in which to keep the community engaged, to address this issue, to find ways to make sure it doesn't happen again, right? Like, yeah. And so for me, I hate public speaking. So like for me to like get up there and grab a megaphone and talk really comes just out of necessity, because like, I just feel like, again, these stories need to be told, and sometimes the people that we want to tell those stories to the greater community aren't there. And so sometimes I see that as an opportunity for me to share that knowledge with people, when that person to share that information is not there. And I also just love like the energy that comes from, people coming together, wanting to make a difference, wanting to improve, our situation. And like I want to encourage people to do that. And so if I can also, try to help people try to organize around making a tangible impact, if I can do that on top of telling people like, hey, like, keep this up, like keep this energy, because like this stuff is always going on. Like this is a forever issue. This isn't, once it hits the headlines issue, like this is a forever issue. And so,
good point.
If you're actually serious about it, try to find ways to get involved, stay involved, to any degree. It can be something that's just like sharing, like retweeting a tweet that talks about, something that's happening, or you actually volunteering and getting involved with the organizations that are trying to, take action, and you can step up and even want to be a leader in that organization, or even create your own organization, or partner up with other individuals, right? So I think there's a role that everybody can play when it comes to wanting to have a lasting impact on the community. I think it's just a matter of, again, just going out there, seeing who's doing what, seeing how you can leverage your strengths, your abilities, your interests as a way to, help the effort, as we keep the fight going.
Man, that's cool. That's a really great point. Even because maybe some people don't want to take the leadership role in regards with community, right? Like joining a community and helping out with whatever it is, donations, fundraisers, moments where we all need to be together. So yeah, just small contributions here and there, like you said, like you mentioned, just retweeting, all of those really help out. So that's a really great point. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be like the head honcho or anything. You could just,
right.
Yeah, you could just help somebody out or spread the word out. So no, man, that's cool.
No, exactly.
I got to give you some props. Like you, when it comes to, I'm going to kind of change the subject a little bit. But like I saw your Instagram post about like you posting your last post on Instagram a while back. I forgot when, like November or October of last year is when you posted that.
Like probably October.
Yeah. And that kind of inspired me to also kind of like take a step back, because I was also noticing how, you watch the social media effect or the, the social media dilemma on Netflix, and you read about things about how, tech just keeps taking data and doesn't want to give it back. And, it's just, it does make you question like the motives of companies like that. But also like on a personal level, like for me, I was like, I can tell I wasn't doing this like purposefully, but I was doing it unconsciously, and it was affecting me where I would go on Instagram and I would just look at, what my friends are doing. And then I subconsciously or consciously or subconsciously, I compare my life to their greatest hits. And I know it's not a great thing, but it's like, I'm just sitting at home, just like eating like whatever. And these, like, you watch all your friends, like you're going to Tel Aviv and Vegas and all this stuff, Bahamas. And so it does make you feel like crap in a sense. And so when I read your post, that was like the main, I was like, I need a reason to get out of this. And when I read that, I was like, okay, if Jordan's doing this, then there must be a good reason for it. And so I wanted to thank you in that aspect, because it helped me a lot, because once I got out of like pretty much Instagram and Facebook, those were like the main two I was on. Like that pretty much cleared, like consciously, I just like freed up a bunch of space. Like, I don't know how, it's like finding a room in your house that you never ever had. Yeah, it was liberating in a sense. And at the time, it was also good to get out of Facebook, because apparently somebody was trying to catfish myself, and so there was that thing going on at the same time. So I mean, I would like to hear your story, why you kind of had to let go of social media, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, like, thank you, like, for those flowers.
Yeah, man.
Because just to know, like, I can have a positive influence, like, that's why I do half the things I do, to like try to spread that good energy, that goodwill to folks.
Man, thank you.
And yeah, because I feel like we're all on the same boat together, trying to figure out this world together. And yeah, and I kind of had that little social media breakup as a way to tell to myself and make a public commitment, like, yo, it's been cool. Like, social media's been cool. Like, I see it come up and go and all that, but like, at the end of the day, it's really all about taking care of yourself and creating your own path, your own journey in life. And as you mentioned, like, I would also catch myself looking at my friends or celebrities or people that I saw as like, influencers in areas that I cared about. And I would compare myself and like be like, damn, well, they already got it. Or they're already doing it. Or damn, they're doing it so much better than me. Or damn, like one day, or even the opposite of like, using that as inspiration, like, yeah, I'm gonna get there, or whatever. If they can do it, I can do it. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, that's their feed, that's their relationship with their social media. And I think for me, I was becoming more and more conscious of my content diet. And like with social media, it's literally programmed to keep you hooked.
Yeah.
To look for the next like thing to like or share or whatever. And yeah, I just became more aware of how I was spending my time, how me spending time on this platform was shaping my thoughts on the world. And like, even after I broke up from social media, I was like, well, I realized I was in an echo chamber. Like that was an experience that was catered to me and my likings and the things that I was following. So what does that perspective look like for other people? Like they may be on the other side of the country, or they might be in the middle of the country, right? Like what type of conversations are they having regarding, current events, news, politics, society, all that stuff? And man, yeah, I realized everybody's in their own echo chamber.
It's crazy.
I realized, I just realized like everybody's kind of in their own bubble, and it's kind of it's like running in a hamster wheel, but like the sides are cut off, and like the only way to get out is like if you have the key and you twist and turn as you're running the hamster wheel. And, you know what I mean? It's just like, like I can do it. Like sometimes, like I would like try to leave social media and then I'd come back, like I'll put the key in and like and then I'll leave it. But I'm still learning on the hamster wheel. And I realized like, wait, I got to get the hell out. Like, what was my original goal? Oh yeah, to get out. And I turned the door and then like I hop out, and like now I'm not running in that wheel again because I think that just being in that endless social media feed just adds stress that you don't need because it becomes subconscious to where you don't even realize the impact that it has on you. But I think it's just good to be, again, mindful of your content diet, of how you spend your time. That was for me, the biggest thing. When I had nothing to do, I would go on social media. Now, when I have nothing to do, I like open up Kindle and read a book, or I'm looking at the news, or I'm on YouTube, like trying to educate myself on something. I try to find things to swap it out with, or it's like Duolingo. Like trying to
Duolingo. I'm taking to Mexico, huh?
But hey, I was learning Spanish and then I fell off and then I got to get back on. But
it's never too late. It's never too late.
Right. I gotta exercise that tongue, man. But that was pretty much social media, man. So it was like quicksand.
Yeah.
And I realized I was sinking and I got to get out.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, it's just, you're constantly, like you said, you're getting a constant feed and it feels like it's never ending. And you say, okay, by this time I'm going to stop. And then the next video somehow, be based on all your likes, your searches and everything. It just knows how to pull you back in and just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It somehow grabs like some certain parts of your brain where you're just like, it's like, oh, this looks exciting. Oh, this looks controversial, like Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
What Facebook does is the opposite, right? They're just trying to get you stuff to get you heated so that way you stay on longer.
Right.
So it was interesting. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's just walking that fine line, right? Like you mentioned, just going on there and just look at the positive. Like that's what I do on social media. I just try to look at the positives, and then if there's ever negative stuff, then I just like close the app right afterwards. Like I just get out. I don't get upset or anything because I'm kind of grown to like I'm kind of used to it now. So it doesn't affect me. And like there's still stories where like it'll still grab my attention and I'm like, whoa, but for the most part, nah, I kind of already know it's there. So like once it comes up and I notice it's like a trend of negative, I just get out and just do something else or go listen to music. Yeah. Cause like, I don't know. It's just, but I can see it. Like, I think there's positives in it and there's also negatives. Negative is how people like, like in your case, where subconsciously you're like making yourself feel worse. But they're also good for businesses. Like you can go and promote your business. You can go ahead and support other people. You can go ahead and find positive quotes. Like, a lot of people don't like them, right? You won't get a lot of likes on them, but it's still good for your health just to at least read it. So I think it's just walking that fine line. I think, But,
and like I think you hit it like on the head, man. Like, I think folks just have to realize what they're getting out of it or what they want to get out of it, right? Because like if you're using social media to promote yourself because like you're your own business person or you got your own art, like, and you're trying to find ways to have your own platform, I think that's amazing, right? I think for the average person that doesn't have it, like they're just on it, I think is like, okay, well, you should definitely ask yourself like, why are you on it? And like probably even before that, just ask yourself like, how much time am I spending on this app? Right? Because like at that point, if it's too much, then it's like, why am I on it? Like, you have to ask yourself. But for me, I mostly use social media as a way to talk about the things I cared about, and then also give highlights to cool stuff I was doing in life, right? Like if I'm traveling, like if I'm going to a winery or and it's a nice day out, like of course people want to
give the people what they want. You
have
to too. Yeah, you have to
exactly. So it's I think man, I think folks just have to ask themselves like what do I want to get out of it, and how do I want to use it? Because even after I left social media, the idea of me coming back, like, it's still there. Like because I know it's like a platform, a space that I can use to like share ideas, to share a message. But now what does that look like? I don't know. So I'm not using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fact that you're intentional and that you understand that you have a reason to be on it or not be on it, I think that's a very deep question. I think that's a question that we have to ask ourselves, right? Why are we using social media? If it's just to connect with our friends, that's cool. Or we, like you said, just be intentional, be conscious of why you're doing it. Because the minute you stop thinking about it is the minute they win. Because then you become this like it's almost like a drug. You know, you get a hit of dopamine, all the likes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
like,
it's
I mean,
habit.
yeah.
Yeah, it's habit. It's just like, oh, I'm on the toilet. Instagram.
Yeah.
Like for real.
We've
It's
all
like,
done that.
it's like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna go on Instagram.
This is taking a minute, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get on Instagram.
Right. Exactly. Like you might be on a date and you're like, man, this person's boring. You like pull your phone like, on Instagram. Oh man,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Oh man, that's reality right there.
Yeah.
What is, and I guess I know we're getting kind of close to the end here, but I guess here's a question for you. What does the Bay Area mean to you?
Damn, talk about a loaded question. Man, the Bay Area means so much to me, man. Like I spent my entire life here, like my entire life in Hayward, and this is home. Like I can be across the other side of the country, be there for the rest of my life until I'm 80. Bay Area is still my home. Like it has given me so much. And I feel like a lot of folks don't fully realize just like how much stuff we have to be appreciative of. Like just even something as basic as like the scenery, the fact that we have hills and a view of like land and water and land across that water, right? Like that's something you don't get in the East Coast at all. It's just flat. And you know, and that's something so basic. This is like what you can see in like the, you know, where you can go. But like beyond that, Bay Area just has a soul to it that, you know, like just has its own life. You know what I mean? Like you look at like shit from like the hyphy movement, culture, and like stuff today, and like the evolution of all that, and like there's just this type of energy that's just unmatched. Like anywhere I go, like I know somebody's from the Bay. If I meet them, like I can tell. It's just like this energy, this swag, this like demeanor that folks have. And I gotta say, like it's like nonchalant, but like confident, but like you know,
like
fluid. It's like super fluid, you know. So like the Bay Area people, like will forever be close to my heart. I'm thinking about leaving, and it's like really hard for me to leave because of that. But I think the other thing to that is like if you've been in one spot for too long, like you gotta switch it up. You gotta get some other perspective on other communities, because the world is more than the Bay Area. The world is more than Hayward for me. And you know, there's 9 billion people on this planet, 350 million people in this country, and like Bay Area has like 7 million people. My city has like 160,000 people, and like on a daily basis, you know, like that's a lot of people. Like for me, it's like, damn, like even in our state of California, that's a lot of people. Have, like, very different experience to California or the Bay Area than I do, right? So even if it's just like me spending a weekend in San Jose or San Francisco or like wherever, like even in the Bay Area, it's gonna give me a different perspective.
Yeah.
But now imagine like if you leave the Bay Area, if you leave the state, just like the type of people that you would encounter, the way in which people talk, the way in which people think, and like the type of ideas that they like to bring to conversations is totally different. And so somebody who cares about people and like the world, like for me, like I want to have those experiences to connect with people from different communities. So I further know where I am in this world, because again, we only have one life. We only have one planet, and we're all on it together, so we might as well enjoy it together.
What a great way to say, that was very eloquent. Damn.
If you have any other ones, like go to rapid fire.
All right, go ahead. Do your rapid fire.
All right. So yeah, we do a rapid fire type of question. Five questions. Just pretty much to end it. Okay. So
cool.
Okay. So first one is favorite color.
Blue.
Favorite number.
Favorite number? Ooh. I'll give the first one that came to mind, 5.
Oh,
I see. All right. Favorite wrestler growing up.
Ooh, that's a good one. Damn. I gotta say, I've had a lot of favorite wrestlers growing up before UFC became a thing. But I gotta say, it's probably Undertaker. For sure.
Yeah. Damn.
I would just be like, oh shit, like, like you know when you hear the bell, like, it's done.
It's done. Yeah. Whoever's in the ring is done.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That was sick.
Well, how about you guys? What's your favorite wrestler growing up?
Oh man,
I got 2. I
have 2.
I got rest in peace Eddie Guerrero, and I got Shawn Michaels. Yep. And I got Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah. Sweet Chin Music.
Yeah. I would say mine is Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Those would be like,
they're freaking sick. Yeah. All right. Favorite Bay Area spot. So like a beach, a view, a bar,
restaurant,
library. Favorite spot.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll give a new favorite spot. I like this San Leandro Marina a lot.
Hey.
I really love it. I really want a boat now. Because I've been going there like recently, like just to get out from quarantine.
Yeah.
And I used to just like go and then be at the bayside, but I never like looked at the boats. I'm like, yo, these boats are kind of cool. And then this is like super random, but I started to look at boats. I'm like, yo, boats don't cost that much. They're like 20, 30, 50,000, whatever, for like a regular boat to you could even like live on. I'm like, yo, that's kind of lit. Like, a little personal yacht. I don't know. That's kind of cool. But yeah, San Leandro Marina is a cool spot.
Damn, that's sick.
I love that place.
All right, and that last one, favorite Bay Area artist.
Ooh,
like a musician, painter. Musician and painter.
That's a good one. Damn, that's a good one. I never just like picked one. You know what I mean? Like,
I hear you. Everybody had their moment. Everybody had their moment for sure.
Yo, yeah, this is the hardest question.
I always hate asking it, but I like asking it at the same time.
Man, favorite artists.
Yeah, I'm thinking about some too.
Yeah, for me, I go Mac Dre.
Mac Dre, yeah. Mac Dre is dope.
I go Mac Dre.
Mac Dre is dope. I would say right now, like in this moment, probably not of all time, but in this moment, Guap Dad 4000 for sure. Guap Dad. Guap Dad is dope. I love his swag, his style, his like humor. That dude is hella funny.
I gotta check him out. He sounds dope.
Yeah, Guap Dad 4000. He's dope. Damn, of all time, I don't even know, bro. I'm like, bro, George Lucas from the Bay Area too. Star Wars started here, baby. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, that's true. In the city. Yeah, you're right. Oh,
a
damn.
bunch of them.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man.
I mean, man, there's so many.
That's
Like,
true.
so you got Carlos
Pixar
Santana,
too.
like you got what else you got? I'm trying to think of like outside of music too.
Pixar was also made out here too, right?
Yeah, Pixar. Yeah, they're based in Emeryville, I think. They have their studios. Yeah, so there's a lot of good artists, but yeah, I would say Guap Dad's probably my favorite right now. And then I would say my favorite old school Bay Area artist. This might go under some people's heads, but Charisma, spelled with a Z. So there's this record label called Stone's Throw Records, which was created by Peanut Butter Wolf. Peanut Butter Wolf is like this white dude from San Jose. He teamed up with this Latino brother Charisma in San Jose in like the early 90s. And like, bro, his bars, like for his time, it was just swagged out, like boom bap, like
I'm gonna check it out.
Like, bro, this is dope. But it's not like traditional Bay Area music. Like it's not like E40 or anything like that, or like Too Short, like type of a style. But it's like you can feel the Bay Area flavor. It's not like immediately Bay Area, but like you can feel it. Charisma and Peanut Butter Wolves. That's the duo. Yeah.
We're gonna have to check them out.
Man, you're putting me on.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be your final answer for the best?
Right now.
No, I hear you, man. Especially 90s style, man. I definitely gotta check it out. That's for sure my favorite genre. Or my favorite.
That's dope.
Yeah, favorite era for sure.
Solid.
Is that gonna be your final answer for the best?
Woo, bro. Keep pressing it, bro. I'm like, man, it's hard for me to pick one. Yeah, I'll probably leave it at Guap Dad and Charisma for like my two choices. I mean, shit, Pac is up there too, because anyhow.
Yeah, he was raised in the Bay for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Raised in the Bay for sure.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh man. It's like once you go off one, you just start thinking of other ones. No, hold on.
I know, right.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking like Del the Funky Homo Sapien and hieroglyphics, like yeah, taking it back.
Dang, names I haven't heard in hell long.
Right.
Oh man, cool man. You just hooked me up, man. I know what to listen to. I've been listening to nothing but reggaeton lately, so this would be a nice.
Oh, that's dope.
transition.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I need to get back into reggaeton, bro. Like, man, I need to get back into my like Spanish and African pop, like that, like in terms of like vibe and energy, like those two just like always put me in a good vibe. Like I always want to dance. Like, like some Spanish or Afro pop. I'm just like, man. But yeah, I gotta get back on reggaeton. It's been a minute.
Yeah, so what's Swiss spots then? We gotta go right on. All right,
Share some playlists.
Right.
Man, that's great.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, we have another question, I think.
I guess I have one last question. And this has to do with like the Bay Area and housing, I guess. Mm-hmm. So you kind of seen like the Bay Area and like how like just like the way it's changed, right? Like housing prices, and like we live out here in the suburbs. We live in Concord, Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek area, and the house out here like 20 years ago it was like 300,000, and now a house out here is like almost 700,000. So I'm just kind of curious, like how? Yeah, it's crazy. Like I never would have thought that the place I grew up with will be like 700,000 like in my entire life. So I'm just kind of curious, like how that is going to impact like regular people. And I mean, will the Bay Area just kind of what do you think? Like, Do you think the Bay Area will continue to be the Bay Area in the future, or will it be like something else?
Man, it's a loaded question. I've been thinking about this a lot. So just like a quick share.
Mhm.
There's a, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Friedman podcast, but there was a conversation he had recently with Ray Dalio.
Oh, really?
And he talks about his book, which highlights some of like the things that we need to be worried about economically, politically, socially, as it relates to where we're going as like a whole country. And the Bay Area is such a beast economically, because like it just doesn't make sense. Like, why the hell is a 1-bedroom $3,000 or $4,000 in Oakland in San Francisco? Like it shouldn't make sense, right? And so I think what's going to happen is like there's definitely going to be like an impact felt on people. Like I'm surprised COVID didn't kind of reduce the pressure on housing. Like it did a little bit, but like now I think folks that are owners of property are like, so I don't know, like the price hasn't come down, even though there's like people moving out and then more housing being developed, like prices haven't really come down. And so I'm kind of scared of like this, I don't even know what to call it, because I don't want to call it like a bubble. But like I see the economic pressure that's happening here that's sending people to Stockton and Sacramento and everywhere outside of here. And like even people leaving here, going to like Texas and Florida and all these other places across the country, which is now like having the same impact here over there, because that's just gentrification. And you got folks from like a wealthier economy going elsewhere where the dollar goes a lot longer, and you got the owners of property and businesses out there that see that, and now they're raising the prices of their property because you got these outsiders coming in who can pay that price.
That's why they have,
right? And so you have this cycle that's like ongoing. So for me, I don't know like what's going to happen. I always tell people like just have like a good amount of savings like set, like because you don't know what could happen. Just be ready for anything, and if you can reduce your living expenses, like do that, because you don't know what's going to happen. There might be another COVID situation where like jobs are gone, which I think is going to be automation, by the way. Like I think all jobs
automation is crazy.
Like a lot of jobs we're going to get automated away, just basic jobs like cashiers and stuff, truck drivers, like all that stuff. So
it's so crazy that you just said that, because I go to we have a Target and Lowe's out here, and like now I see barely any cashiers like at the Target. Everybody kind of goes just to the self-pay. Same thing at Lowe's. Like if you go to Lowe's, where we live, there's like one cashier, and that's the one managing like 5 different kiosks. There's no more cashiers at that Lowe's at all. They're doing others. They have employees for other stuff, but like cashier, like you said, that's going to be like the first chopping block, like as in grocery stores, things like that. Yeah. Then it would be like, I don't know, Elon Musk is trying to play with automated truck driving, but it's not working out very well. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah. I think the truck driving is going to be big. I think if we hear about the truck drivers protesting the vaccines in Canada, I'm like, y'all need to be protesting automation. I don't think y'all realize that the technology is already here. It just has to get regulated and like allowed. And then at that point, it's up to the businesses to determine their level of comfort with, self-driving capabilities and stuff like that. Because even if you look at freights that put, the freights on the back of trucks, from like the docks, like even that's becoming automated. So like, what's going to be the point of having a driver
Yeah.
beyond just like making sure that nothing is wrong with the system, so yeah, I don't think people are really thinking about it like that. And like being in tech and like just
Yeah.
being up to date on tech news and seeing what companies are doing, and even me looking for companies to invest in that are trying to like revolutionize industries. Yeah, like I'm trying to ring that bell so hard to people, because I don't think we're gonna be proactive about it. I think it's gonna be reactive. It's like, oh, these jobs are gone. Big tech, what are you going to do now? Like, how are we gonna hold them accountable? Which I think we should start to think about that now.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is why I appreciate Andrew Yang when he was,
yes,
because that was his platform. It was like, yo, I don't think I'll realize the crap that's gonna happen if we don't think about jobs going away. Because like, if you talk to a lot of people like in the middle of the country, especially former like manufacturing cities or like coal cities, they'd be like, well, we're losing our jobs, and a lot of those jobs are going overseas because like manufacturing is cheaper out there. So there's already a segment of the population in the country that have lost jobs. Now there's a even greater segment, and now with costs of living increasing and like increasing housing pricing and all that stuff, I don't know. It's scary to think about.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's one of the things that I really liked about. I mean, I'm gonna get a little political here, but I don't care. That was one of the things I liked about Yang, was the fact that he talked about automation, because I actually worked for a startup, and it was a startup that was using robots to deliver groceries and deliver food. And I was thinking, like, man, if this really took off, like this could be, in a way, it's good, right? Because then people can have the convenience of ordering stuff. But in a way, like all the DoorDash people and stuff like that are going to get upset because they're literally getting outbeat by a little tiny robot, running around delivering food and groceries and stuff. It could be a competitor, but at the same time, there's this like undertone of like human versus robot. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
And people, it makes sense, right? Because people can lose their jobs. They're like, what the hell? But it can also make jobs. So it's a very delicate dance that we have to play.
Right, exactly. Because I think that's one thing that's probably guarantees that like technological innovation is going to come. Because like humans, we just keep creating. It's not going to stop. People were talking shit to Jeff Bezos and Elon and whoever or whatever about going to space, and it's like I forgot my point.
It's all good. I'll come back.
Yeah. What was it? Hold up. Let me get it. Yeah, it's like people are worried about that, but like there's other things to also worry about. Like, I don't know. I think just people's perspective of like what's important, what's not, it's kind of skewed. Yeah, I don't know. I need to think about that a little bit.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to say?
No, that was a great question. If you have any more, if not, the only question I have is just if you're cool with it, like, just where can people contact you in case they have any questions they want to ask you, or just hit you up and maybe congratulate you or anything, right? Or support you, like
email.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, feel free to hit me up via email. My email is easy. It's me at jordanleopold.com. So me at JORDANLEOPOLD.com. And I'm always available. So if anybody listening in is interested in picking up a conversation or just talking or connecting, I'm all for it.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming on and sharing your insights, because I know this is going to be a lot of value to a lot of people here. So
Yeah. Well,
Thank
hey,
you.
thank you guys for having me on. Like, this is such a dope platform. Yeah, I'm super excited for you guys and the conversations that y'all are having. Yeah, because again, I think folks need to. I think it's just good to hear other people's stories, to see, like, I don't know, as a way to
Perspective, right?
reflect on where we're at, like in our journey, right? And so I think we all got something to bring to the table. We all got interests in something that maybe others don't, that others may find interesting, that we can share and connect on that. And so, yeah, appreciate you guys for creating that for people.
Hell yeah. No, thank you. And thank you for having us on. I mean, thank you for coming on and taking your time off your day to come this way, because this, time is valuable. As we know, time is the best resource. So we appreciate you, and yeah, just want to say thank you once again.
Right
Yeah,
on.
Thank you, man.
Cool, guys.
And with that, I think we're going to head out. We appreciate you. We hope you have a great day, and until next time.
Right on. Till next time, guys. Take it
See ya.
easy.
Thanks, son.
See ya.